Welcome to this week's episode of the Success Realtor podcast by yours truly, Colleen Wood. Here is where we celebrate success in real estate and share the wisdom and struggles so others can be successful too. If you are a new listener, I am the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders, and I'm known for helping realtors earn a lot more money in commissions without selling their soul to the industry and maintaining balance with what's most important in life. Today, we are talking to Leah Woods, realtor with #1 properties out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Leah, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to chat with you and learn about your market. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. Today, we are talking about all things success in real estate in the Cheyenne, Wyoming market. Leah is going to tell us how she built her 20-year career and what she's doing to continue to build that and be successful moving into 2023. Now, Leah, you closed $12 million in real estate last year in a year that you sold a house, physically built a home, and then moved in and still did $12 million in real estate. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a blessed year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of ups and downs and moving parts, but it was awesome. Yeah.
That is awesome. Leah, that really speaks to how you are able to balance both life and business to be able to keep that much business going and have such a big project. In our industry, we always talk about how clients that can actually make it through and stay married in a construction process. I mean, that's a feat all on its own, but to do that and do 12 million in real estate, that is incredible. Good for you.
Thanks. It comes with being married to the builder. So he often sells our home, or I often sell our home, and then we find ourselves in constant influx of homes. But yeah, it's fun.
That comes with the industry. It comes with the territory too. You know what the value is of your home, or you see that somebody has a need of a home and you literally are sitting in the home that they need. And so I could see how you could easily end up turning over your personal real estate pretty quickly.
Yeah, our kids, when we would say, we got to pick up our house, that's going to be shown, the kids are like, oh man,
Oh,
we're
man.
moving again.
I just got moved in.
I know.
All right,
But
Leah, give me the rundown. How did you get started in real estate? What drew you to this industry?
yeah, so my mom was in real estate. I remember her doing real estate, I think when I was like in third grade. And so back in the day where they still had to meet and hand write down what their addresses were, and then they had to wait for somebody to be home so that they could get the key. There were no lock boxes or anything.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was working for Ralph Lauren in Phoenix, and Black Fridays had just started
Mhm.
and online shopping, and kind of saw a change in that industry. And my mom said, "You're working so hard. Why don't you work for yourself and let that work ethic benefit you?" And
Mhm.
it's scary,
Mhm.
but was grateful that I was able to work with her for the first 7 years of the 20 years. Um,
What a gift.
oh, amazing. Talk about a gift of knowledge that I was able to propel me into this industry. So
Mhm.
that's how I got started.
That's one of my biggest pieces of advice to new agents because I have new agents that'll reach out. That's really common that they want to connect with a lender and learn about all things mortgage, like you could tell it to them in 1 hour long meeting. And it's always surprising to me how many of them try to go out on their own when there are experienced realtors out there that desperately need assistance that you can go and learn like a college level education that could make you more money than a doctor easily and be able to learn while you're earning by somebody who's actually doing transactions. It's such a gift.
It's like being given a playbook that's already been tested and refined and, yeah,
Mhm.
put together for you with a bow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's how I learned too. I ended up learning from an expert in mortgage, and it was such a gift to get to learn the industry from, just baby steps, little bitty bites at a time instead of just getting dropped. So, how lucky were you to learn from your mom? So talk to
absolutely.
me. I know that you don't see yourself as a salesperson. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I and maybe it's from the world of retail and making the transition into being a realtor, but I really had a hard time with being a salesperson, the air
Mhm.
quotes salesperson. And I always do better when I can see myself providing a value for our clients, right?
Right. Right.
So I really see myself as a cog in the wheel of financial investments.
Mm.
I'm a big Dave Ramsey person.
Yeah.
I believe in financial freedom.
Yes.
And so I see our homes as one of the biggest investments that a lot of folks have, right? And that gives it such an enormity, such a weight
Yeah.
what I do. I'm not selling you a home. I'm helping you make a financial decision that I hope will propel you to live a retirement life
Mhm.
or provide money for college or fill in the blank, whatever that is that you need. But
Yeah.
that's what my job is.
All
So,
while putting a roof over your head. It's one of the most beautiful investments because it has
oh,
multiple purposes, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a home, it's where you go to feel safe and
Mhm.
all of those other, wonderful aspects of, raising
Mhm.
children.
Yeah, and I know that one of your things that you do that separates you from others is that you provide every single year without your clients having to connect with you and request it. You provide a CMA every single year, like an asset statement, like a financial advisor would.
Yeah. And that is, I think, a huge role for our clients, especially right now. And I really started it in 2020, to be honest,
Mm.
because everybody was I mean, it was the beginning of the pandemic, everybody was scared. And
Yes.
then it was always exciting to give everybody statements when their values are going up in
Yeah.
21 and 22. And this year is going to have a little different feel to it, like it's okay,
Mhm.
interest rates are going up, but our market is still doing well. And
Yeah.
there's no reason for fear and panic, so
No, real estate's still a phenomenal asset. It's still a phenomenal way to build generational wealth. And I love that you're helping your clients put the pieces together by not just seeing granite countertops or how many acres you're sitting on, but how it can actually provide to you a life that is going to be better for you and your family moving forward. I love that you
yeah.
do that. Do you get many referrals off those CMAs that you send out?
I get a lot of I think I had like 45% of my client base last year was referrals from past clients. I have extremely good turnover with that, and I really do kind of go into every sale with this mindset of I'm just here to do the best job I can for you at this moment. I'm grateful for you in my life
Mhm.
and let's see how we can move you forward in this investment and find the right one for you. So,
I
yeah.
love that. What are you seeing in your market locally in Cheyenne? Are you seeing price adjustments? Is it buyer's market, seller's market? What are you seeing?
I have a different feeling about this market, and I'm very grateful for this market. I am very grateful for a balanced market, which I feel
Mhm.
like we have not been in for the last 2.5 years.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm very grateful. And probably a conversation you're having too. Your buyers feel like they've missed out on something.
Mhm.
I think it's very important for us to speak to our buyers and let them know that the previous 2 years was rough on buyers.
It
And
was really
yes,
rough. They had a hard
oh,
time winning. It was horrible.
absolutely. You were giving up your rights to do your inspections. You were
Yes.
going above. You were pulling money out of investment accounts and all for a house maybe you didn't even really love,
Mhm.
And so our rates are temporary, right?
Yep.
You marry your house, your
Right.
rate. Um, and so it's important to keep that in perspective. And I really find that when buyers are able to learn just how unkind the last 2 years were to our poor buyers.
Yes.
Buyers feel better about moving forward. They feel they've got more options. We've got more than two homes to show you. It's amazing.
Yes.
We might
Yes.
actually find one that fits all your boxes. Uh,
Yes.
and I think it's just more balanced. I think for me, that's the word that I find that fits it best is balanced.
Did you see with all the influx of the Western seaboard, moving eastwards towards Montana and Wyoming, Idaho, we all got just hit super hard with people just coming over from the Western seaboards and then other places as well. Did you see your local Wyoming people having a hard time being able to put houses under contract because of the so much competition and cash?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
did. Another aspect that we have is that we are close to the Colorado border.
Sure.
We had California really moving into Colorado and Colorado sweeping into Cheyenne.
Yeah.
There's a joke. I don't know if it's a joke, but we are referred to as Northern Colorado by, our Northern Wyoming folks
Yeah.
because we had so many people come up from, and that was sad. I mean,
Mm.
they love their state. They just don't recognize it anymore. And so they're
Yeah.
trying to, so we had that movement too. But yeah, lots of
Mhm.
cash and it was hard for our folks and they definitely felt that
Mhm.
stress. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the market has certainly shifted and we are seeing less pressure. We're seeing more inventory. You guys too. Like you said, you have more than two houses to sell. That's really lovely. So things are
Yes.
looking up for our buyers. So very exciting about that. What is your favorite part about your job and why is that?
Gosh, I just think it's such a blessing. And it's so amazing that these families invite you in to
Yes.
help them with this huge financial investment. And you get to meet their babies and you get invited to
Yes.
birthday parties and you get invited into their family. And
Mhm.
what other career are you in where you kind of get that unique invitation into their home, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is like a teacher, like, and
Yeah.
it's so unique to be able to watch them grow up. And I've helped folks and then I've helped their kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how old am I getting? It
Yeah, it becomes generational where you
is.
become like one of my first clients, they're a veteran couple and he's an Army Ranger. And Leah, he has given everything to our country. Everything. They don't
Yes.
make a lot of money. He's just got back from a 1 year deployment and their little guy is 13. And I mean, it's just that he's just given everything. And, he was one of my original clients when I first got started on my own and they just went under contract on a move up home that they were able to take advantage of all the equity that they were able to acquire over the years, having bought in Montana. And then we've done the refinances and they have all the equity. And now they're moving into a home with a promotion that is going to allow him to stay home. And that's just
Oh,
like talking to them on the phone. I mean, we're friends on social media and stuff. So we feel like we're in each other's lives and we are. And so we got on the phone and just talked like we're old friends. And you're so lucky. You guys get to, see your people face to face and more often than we do. And we really do build lifelong relationships and we cry together and we laugh together and we just cry together on the phone about how awesome it's going to be for him to get to be home and for them to move into this beautiful home. So I know exactly what you mean.
yeah.
It's a
It
wonderful.
is just a true blessing. Yep. Very
Yes.
cool.
So how do you distinguish yourself? I mean, realtors, I mean, there can be a lot of them. There are certainly less of them after 2022, which has been a healthy cleansing. Less realtors, less lenders, which is great. But how do you distinguish yourself from your competitors? Like if you're trying to get a listing or something, what do you do different?
Oh gosh, I don't actually have a great answer for that. I really just try to go into everything and be the honest, genuine person I am. And I think if you are honest and real with the person sitting across the table from you, they feel that, they know that, and not there to sugarcoat it. I'm going to give it to you like it is. I do tend to be an agent, and I try to tell folks this right off the bat that I'm going to give us all the red flags and all the warnings, and I'm going to tell
Yep.
you everything that can go wrong.
Everything I'm
Well,
worried about.
right.
Hmm.
My job is to get us through those hurdles, hopefully without you ever feeling them.
Yeah.
However, we're going to go into this, and I want you to have a crystal clear picture of what it may look like, and I'm going to do my best to get us through it. But these potentially could come up. And I do think that people
Yes.
appreciate the honesty. I don't think they're under any illusion that this is smooth, we're hired to do a job for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I will rarely go into a new listing appointment without having some kind of connection or referral or something that way. So, we always have something to talk about.
Well, that just speaks to your time in the industry and your reputation locally. And, there is no shortcut with that, right? It's just time, boots on the ground, doing the right thing for people over and over again. Well, I love that about you, that I mean, you're not trying to do any smoke and mirrors. There's no whiz bang fancy app or anything like that. It's just, you just lead with your heart and you come in genuinely trying to help guide people through what can be a difficult process. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. I love that.
I
So what do you do to build your successful customer base? It sounds like, I mean, most of your stuff is referral only, or most of it, 45% you said is mostly referrals. How do you build that out and how do you maintain that?
you know, I don't have a great answer for that. And again, I think it is just the time in the industry and just continuing to take good care of people. Cheyenne's a small town. I don't know, we're at 70,000 people now if you include our county. And
Yeah.
just seems like a ton of people. We're a very small town, though, and word of mouth and everything
Mhm.
travels. And
Mhm.
I'm very lucky that my husband is a builder and a reputable builder and
Ah.
has a long standing in the community as well. And
Mhm.
just being involved in your community and trying to help it
Mhm.
do well. And I don't
Mhm.
know.
Do you do anything to stay in contact with your past clients, to stay in touch with them?
Oh, yeah. I do monthly giveaways. I do handwritten letters.
Yep.
I'm a huge believer in that and in our anniversaries. I used a company last year, Client Giant. I don't know if anybody has heard of that. That's great. You give them your client contact and then they send out gifts every quarter for you. And it was a
Oh,
great way to be able to touch your clients and be able
yes.
to, summertime they were getting towels and suntan lotion or something fun. And little personal notes and,
That's a
our
great tip.
newsletters and yeah, things like that. So I give back a ton. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like it's a constant process staying in touch, but you also have, it's a local community, which, small communities can be good and bad, right? Like one thing goes sideways. Like I always say, it takes a long time to build a positive reputation, but nothing spreads like wildfire more than when something goes bad. And
I know.
and so, that's just one of those things. We don't have the luxury of being in a larger market where you can kind of trip over and make some mistakes and hardly anybody knows about it. You have the full frontal visual ability of the entire community. And that's good and bad. It's good and bad. So it just takes longer. So, but you're staying in touch and staying in front of people for sure.
Yeah, I think again, it's such a unique opportunity and it's sad when you see clients that bought a house with somebody and they've been invited into the family and then they never hear from their realtor again.
Mhm.
It's and they feel like they've invited you into their home and been able to share a part of their family with you and then you never check on them again. And so
Yeah.
handwritten notes are huge. If I'm driving by a client's home, I try to say, the planters look awesome in your yard this year. I
Oh,
love
that's a great
Daisy,
idea.
and it takes seconds to potentially brighten their day. Remembering a kid's birthday, or, there's so many different ways that we get to touch them and stay a part of their lives. And
It's
yeah.
not just a transaction, it's a relationship for life. And so many people just use it as a transaction. I'll tell you something that's interesting that we've learned is that even if I did not do somebody's mortgage, if I just start talking to them on a regular basis, just sending them update emails, sending them, a text, just checking in, how's the house? How's your summer going? I literally can just start talking to them. And within a couple of months, Leah, they think that I'm the one that did their loan because
Right.
their lender is not talking to them. And I never have said I did your loan. I'm just your local lender caring about who you are and what you have going on and just being connected with you. And so people hear that loud and clear. What Leah is
Yeah.
saying is that somebody else, a realtor, can literally come in and take your past clients, even if you've done several transactions with them, just by caring and taking an interest in their personal life. It's not just a transaction. This is a relationship that we're building.
Well, and too, I think a point that you've made in this podcast, if we want to be viewed differently than these Zillow and
Mhm.
some other companies, I don't want to necessarily
Right.
mean, but,
Right.
think that they can do what we do. That's our job, is to
Mhm.
show the
To prove I'm
clients the
wrong.
difference, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
it's a gift, and we need to start taking advantage of it.
Yes.
And
Well, when both sides of the transaction and title too, and appraisers too, there is definitely some efforts being made to remove those people out of the transaction and create a completely online experience like it's easy and that you can take the people out of it. And we just simply can't be replaced. But if you're out there kind of creating an automated experience for people and you are taking yourself out, you're proving those entities right. And we've got to dive deeper into the people part of it to prove them wrong.
Yep,
So I love
perfect.
that. I love that. That's amazing. So if you were to start all over as a brand new realtor, what would you do different?
I think it's extremely important to get, and it's one of the things that I need now, and I think it's a behavioral type or a learning type, but I need to have a habit for every day. I get up at 5, I do my gratitudes and my journaling and reading. I go
Right.
to the gym. I try to get a car wash. So by 7 o'clock, I'm ready to hit the day running, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wish I had learned how valuable it was to get, and again, to I think another one of your podcasts, to take care of ourselves, right? We need
Right.
to take care of ourselves and put ourselves first. And so I've kind of learned that if I can dedicate that morning to me, feeding my soul and my heart and fueling my body
Yep.
and car, I
Yeah.
am ready for the day. And so it gets me ahead of the 8 ball for the whole
Mhm.
day.
Right.
I think the biggest misconception that is out there about real estate and probably lending is that you are in control of your own schedule, right?
Yep.
I hear everyone that comes into the company, I'm just ready to be in control of my own. I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
Aw. You're in
You're
for
not in
reality
control
check.
of our schedule. But that can beat you up and that can be hard
Mhm.
to get in front of. And so I wish I had learned that a little sooner. We have 6 kids, so that can be
Gosh.
challenging all on its own. So yeah, I wish I had maybe figured that out sooner.
We should have led with that. I have 6 kids and I'm amazing because that takes it to the next level. I don't know how
Oh,
you do that. I have 1 and I feel like I'm not present for him like I should be. That's incredible, Leah.
gosh, that's a struggle, isn't it? Finding the balance within our families, and
Yeah.
it's hard when it's my our kids are older. They are 28 to 18, and so my youngest is 18, but I definitely remember those years of you gotta get the meals ready, the lunch is ready in the morning, and they need to eat, like, 4 meals, it seems like, and
At least. Yes,
where's
and
the
they
food
didn't
coming
start
from?
out
Breakfast is
older.
fresh.
I mean, you've had 20 years in this business and you've raised all of those kids through all of that. And you're right. I just want to echo what you're saying. I just want to just drive this home just a little bit and just say that if you get your day started early in the morning, and I know everybody's like, oh God, I don't want to get up early, but it is the time of your day that you are in control. It's before everyone else starts pulling on you. Most of the time, our clients are not calling us at 5 a.m. We're generally pretty good to about 7 until
Yeah.
like the notifications and the emails and the things where people are starting to expect you to respond. The earlier you can get up and get control of your calendar, you know what's going to happen for the day. You know what your mindset needs to be. You're taking care of your personal self. I highly recommend workout, just like what Leah's saying, to get your body in a state to be able to take care of other people. If you take care of yourself first, then you're not getting to the end of the day and feel like, I never get anything done for me, and feeling angry because, with the slower market that we had last year, we kind of got to take a little bit of a breath, which was good. But now we're picking up again, and I know that a lot of us are starting to feel that little tightness, that little anxiety every time the phone rings, which we're like super grateful for the business, but huh, I got to go 50 different directions and to try to help these people, and we want to, but there's another little part that's like, I got to feed my kid at some point. I got to throw him a
Right.
pork chop at some point, and not be a bad mom and a non-present wife and all the other things that are important. So doing those important things first before everybody else starts snatching your schedule is really, really a high level tip.
Well, and one of the things I've kind of learned, and I think this industry has missed an opportunity. I think working out is obviously good for your body, but for me, it's more my mental health.
Hmm.
Like I have anxiety, like probably a lot of other folks out there. What are my
Yes.
kids doing? Fill in the blanks, I work out my anxiety, I work out my stress, I work out my "Ugh, why isn't this house selling?" I have to have this conversation where I ask my client for another price reduction. And
Hmm.
how do I explain the market in a way that they're going to be able to receive it and understand it? And
Hmm.
well, you put it all out there, and it really does. uh, The body and the mind are a crazy team together. And so,
Yep.
if you find yourself stressed and if you find yourself anxious, I'd also encourage the working out. It really is an irreplaceable tool.
And it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. Like, I hear
Oh
that
gosh,
so
no.
often because I love to lift weights, and I hear this from other ladies. They're like, "I don't wanna get bulky." Well, go for a walk. Just go for a
Yes.
walk, get outside. If you live in a windy place, I mean, walk inside, something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, I mean, same. I'm from Livingston, Montana. It's like the windiest place in the world next to Cheyenne.
yeah.
And so, but just go and move your body, lift some weights, let those endorphins release into your body, and you'll feel
Yes.
so much more control of your day and be able to handle the hard conversations. Oh my gosh, it's like my secret weapon. It's my secret
Yep,
weapon.
yep.
Mhm. Yep,
My other
I
one
love
is
that.
too, I would go home, make the meals for the family, be present for your family, but 8 o'clock when my kids would go to bed, I would run into the office. We live close enough, so that is a blessing, but boy, I'll tell you what I can do when nobody else is there. I'm not waiting for the copier. I'm not chatting with other agents. I can get 3 hours worth of work done in an hour all by
Yes.
myself,
Yes.
but make that family time important.
Yes.
Be present. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like because, my business really got really up and going and really busy over the last 7 years, and my son is 14. Well, gosh, I felt like I missed so much of that. In fact, I hugged him the other day because I was looking through some old pictures, and he was so little and cute, and his glasses were always sliding down his nose, and he was just that, cute little kid, and I was looking at him, and I went and hugged him, wrapped my arms around him, and I said, "I feel like I missed all of this because I don't remember you at this stage." And he hugged me back and he said, "Mama, you were there. You took the picture." I was
right?
like, "But did
Aw.
you know that I loved you? Did you know that I was creating all of this for us?" And I'm trying so much harder to be present and to see him for these last years that he's going to be in my home. And so, it is, I'll tell you, my thing is that I love, 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 because by the end of the day, I'm pretty much wiped out. But my secret weapon is like the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. spot where
Yep.
I can get up and I open my computer and I can get so much work done, so much income calculated, things processed through email sent, and all this stuff done in the middle of the night where I'm not taking anything away from my family and I'm so productive at that time. So, if that's what you need to do in order to make all the things happen, then that's what we do. There's other ways to do it too that involve other people, but do what you got to do.
And that's so true. I have learned rather than, because I always think of something about 2 or 3, and I'm like, "Okay, what was that thing we were supposed to remember? Okay.
Mhm.
Wait, what was it?" If I just get up and just do that, if I am trying to remind myself to write an email
Mhm.
for the last 4 hours of a night that I could be sleeping, I get up and I write the email. And when your mind is, yeah, and
Mhm.
get it off your plate and try to go back to sleep or something. So,
Yes.
yeah,
I
those are
think
just things
there's
I think come with age, or
yeah.
years in the industry too. So,
Yeah. Well, I feel like I forget what I'm doing while I'm waiting for my computer to load sometimes. I'm like, what was I doing on this app? I'm like, holy cow, I've only been waiting for 20 seconds. I've already forgot because my brain's gone 12 different other places. So, a
yeah.
really great tip for you guys too is if you feel like you have crazy brain, because I know that a lot of us feel like it, I think there's a lot of anxiety that comes from trying to remember. Like what Leah's saying is like she's worried that she's going to forget about writing this email. So if you just sit down with a pen and paper or whatever works for you, but handwriting it out really does something for your brain, the physical brain connection to physically write it out. Do a 10 minutes of brain dump. Write down every single thing that you think you have to do, personal, business, everything, just dump it out all onto the paper. And then you have your checklist. And you don't have to
Absolutely.
remember
Yep.
those things. You could take a picture
Done.
with your phone. It's done. It's all here. You don't have to remember. So sometimes, like, leaving that pad of paper next to your bedside table when you wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, gosh, you're going to remember to do that. Write it down, and then you can go back to sleep.
Yes. And sometimes you'll have comical notes, like, "Oh, orange juice for random items, that don't make a ton of sense."
I've learned to be able
That's
to
at 3
put
AM.
my pad of paper on my console on my pickup, and I've learned that I can, like, drive and write while I'm looking at the road, and even if the writing is terrible, because who cares? It's just for me, right? And I'm just dumping crooked notes out, but it's just how much anxiety is released because I don't need to remember that.
Yes, I know.
Mhm.
It is. It's a huge tool.
Yeah, but
To
we're moms, so we think our greatest asset, our greatest skill is multitasking. We're actually really horrible at it.
I think women are amazing with everything that we have to do. I mean, I look at the women, I don't know, 56, in the 50s and 60s
Mm,
and everything that we're trying to do now. I mean, we just take more and more on and we're able to
yeah.
do it. And what a gift. And
Mhm.
it is a superpower, that everything that we're able to do and we're raising wonderful humans that are going
Yeah.
to take us to the next place. So,
I always say I'm a mom. I have 3 arms. I can do anything.
yes.
I can do anything. With a baby on my
Yes.
hip, I can do all the things, carry all the groceries, do all the stuff, voice to text the email, do like the yeah, all at the same time.
Yeah. Done.
Okay, so if you had achieved all of your goals tomorrow, what would your life look like?
Oh, my friend, I think it's gonna look like a little cottage on the beach,
Mm. Wow.
enjoying some much needed rest and relaxation. We actually achieved a really big goal, a goal of ours this last year, and we kind of are finding ourselves floundering a little bit. Like, what are we going to do?
What's next?
And the beach is what I think I want to go do and relax. And so I don't know. I
That
want to
sounds amazing.
enjoy built, yeah. So
Mhm. I think it's hard, like you've been in the industry for 20 years, I've been in the industry for 17. And when you do start hitting your goals, there's a lot of anxiety when you've checked the box because you don't know what's next.
I know.
Like that's like I really struggled with that last year because I feel like I've achieved everything I've ever wanted in my life. I've achieved everything. And so it was like, what's the next thing? Because I've got to have something to chase. And I really
Absolutely.
struggled looking for it. So I'm glad that you have identified that. Do you see that cottage as like a regular vacation where you would change locations to different beaches? Or are you thinking like, I want to buy real estate on a specific beach and I want to, be there often or all the time?
I don't know. As I get older, these winters are harder and harder to handle.
Yep.
I really do see a goal of ours. Again, we come up with these unachievable goals and you realize how amazing it is when you reach the goal that you thought was unachievable, like, let's
Right.
put that out there. We wanted a Airbnb and we have our first one here in Cheyenne and it's doing well. And I guess a goal of ours, one of those unachievables was to have a Airbnb in Florida and to have it paid off by time we get there. And
Mhm.
there's something about that white sugar sand up in the Destin area that really calls my
Mhm.
name
I
on
love that
days.
you're naming it. I love that you're naming it. I think that you should dive down it deeper into those details because the more that we visualize and focus on what it is that we want, the closer you're to it. And you and I
Yeah.
both know because you're saying it that you've set large goals and then you've hit them when they were goals that they were not even achievable. Well, you achieved them because you focused on them and you kept making moves on the board to head in that direction. And I'm a big believer in the power of visualization and the law of attraction and humongous. So you should really dive deep into that goal because I know it'll happen for you.
Yeah, all of a sudden it feels much more tangible than it did before. But we're so like-minded. I really do believe what you focus on expands
Yes.
and you got to have a focus out there.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. All right, my friend. Well, this was incredible. I feel like I know you so much better now. Thank you so much for sharing all of your information about how you've been so successful there in Cheyenne. I know our listeners are going to be really excited to listen to this episode. So thank you so much for
Aw,
your time.
so much. It was my
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Just as a reminder, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders. What we are known for are three things. Number one, we close on time. Number two, we keep our realtors in the sales seat at all times by keeping them updated on their current transactions. And number three, when you entrust us with a lead, we follow up on that lead until they buy, fly, or die. Leads are never lost to our lack of follow up. Our number one priority is for you to earn more money in commissions so you can improve the lives of your family, community, and in turn, our country. So, can I count on you for that next buyer lead? I would love to work with you too. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on the podcast, please just reach out to my office. All right, we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Bye bye.